Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to our 14th episode, if we count the past season of Dragon Age. It is Thirsty Thursdays, and I am Simon at Wandering DM. And tonight I'll be playing the part of Aiden, the apostate mage. But first, I would just like to thank all of our sponsors here before we begin the game. Of course, starting with Mage Press, whose Kickstarter has ended. It was completely funded. If you like sci-fi fantasy in your D&D, check them out at store.mageandpress.com and check out the Dark Matter Handbook or any of the supplements they've put out over the years. You should also check out Found Familiar, great coffee company, and you can use code WanderingDM to get 10% off your purchases over there. They have a bunch of good coffee that they've restocked, I think somewhat recently. So now's the time if you want to order a whole bunch of coffee. That said, our other sponsor is, of course, Roll20, the platform that we use here on Wandering DM for all of our games, which reminds me, I forgot to open up my character sheet. And our partners through the Dice-O-Nancy program is, of course, Level Up Dice. You can check them out down below using the panel. And is this... Are we... Oh my god, thank you very much. We're starting tonight's game with a hype train. Thank you so much, T and Tails. So while the alerts are still going on, let's go around the table and introduce our cast for tonight. We have a Bastien who's on his way, but let's begin. Let's mix it up a bit for this week, and we'll start with Gabe.
Hello, I'm Gabe James Games on Twitch, Twitter, and pretty much anywhere else. I am playing the Elven Mage Athsin, who keeps having strangely delightful moments with Aiden, and it's so weird, but it also makes me laugh. And I have no idea how far it's gonna go, but I'm gonna play it up.
Cool. Next, we have Kelly.
First off, I regret absolutely nothing about last week. I think that Mavia provided some excellent character building exercises for the group. Yes. Anyway, hi, I'm Kelly. I play Mavia, the completely serious dwarf who never causes any problems and whose goal in life is, of course, not to see how many times Tanya can just facepalm during the show.
Up next, we have Deirdre.
Oh, hey, y'all. You know me. I'm at Deirdre on Twitter, Prexorethesmephoria, and I get to play Verisa, the sneaky stabby bitch, who was apparently having more than one off with Zevran. And that's about it.
And to tell this epic story of, I was gonna say lust and comedy, but I don't know if that's the proper. I don't know if that's what we're going for.
That's accurate. I mean, its tagline became Thirsty Thursday in how many episodes?
Like 3.
I'm just amused that everybody thought Mavia was going to be the thirstiest one out of this crew. She was the bard, and I'm like, I am merely the facilitator. I do not thirst myself. I hydrated.
Mm-hmm.
Tanya, hi.
Hi. Hi, I'm Tanya. I am your DM, Cypher everywhere on the internet. I play your ever confused Inquisitor Fenris, all your NPCs, and let's see if we can get through the next 3 hours with no one getting naked unless it's very intentional and with consent. Not that last week wasn't without consent, but you know what I mean. We need to see how poor Athsin fares after his shenaniganry. yeah.
Oh, that's right. We ended right when I was like, hey, do you have any tattoos?
No, you asked him, you mentioned not wanting to get a tattoo there. And Aston was like, you saw me naked.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we stopped. I was like, can't do what you're going to do with Bastion because Bastion's not here yet. So, as always, I ask for a recap, both for the benefit of people that are new to the stream and for your DM who has a Swiss cheese memory. So other than naked times, amok times, what happened last week?
Was that a Star Trek reference? I love you.
What happened last week?
Well, as far as Aiden was concerned, he went and met with the one and only Egg Boy. He spoke with Solus about the Crossroads and the Fade and the Illuvian, and borrowed a couple books about arcane warriors for bedside reading. And he then made his way to the Herald's Rest, the tavern in Skyhold, and partaked in the fun. I don't know, what's the past of partake?
Partook.
And partook in the fun that was there. But that was pretty much it for Aiden last week.
Mavia did not just, somehow not trick. She didn't trick. We'll get to that. But she actually snuck down and gave Anders a light to use when his light ran out, because she felt really bad about taking his pillow, because she just thought it was a regular pillow. She didn't know it was a special pillow, like his binky. But and then came the barding. We managed, between myself, Bastien, and an assist from Iron Bull, to convince Athson, a very drunk Athson, that it was traditional in Skyhold to boost your magic power by going and swimming naked in a lake, or in a pond rather. And that is exactly what happened. Mavia got a very, very up close view of. She's short, and Kelly forgot about that fact, and I thought about that after the episode, and now I'm mentally scarred. But, just saying. Next.
Marisa had some interesting times.
Marisa sat at the bar. Marisa mildly encouraged other people and played support for Mavia's plots and plans. Had a conversation with Solus about hunting down people and seeing whether or not Anders intentionally stranded people. And a private time with Zevran. That's about it.
All right.
I think I've covered everything.
Yeah, and Bastien spoke with Josephine about his missing brother and sister. And so far, she's going to try to look into what could have happened to his brother, who I believe, and if I get this wrong, hopefully Andrew can correct me, his brother was the mage, and we are looking for that brother. If I got that wrong, hopefully I will get that right when Andrew gets here.
Which, incidentally, even though Mavia wasn't there, and this is a little bit of metagaming pigeon, Kelly would like to remind everybody, since it happened last season, that Bastien had shared with Mavia what he claimed was his backstory and why he was adventuring, and there was nary a mention of a brother.
Well, now there is one.
Oh no, I'm just saying that Bastien has secrets.
Of course.
Oh, we all have secrets.
We all have secrets, yeah. Oh, and FYI, maybe it did get naked at the end. She just waited for all the men to get out of the pond first because they're dirty and gross.
Yeah.
And there was maybe a convincing Athson by very wonderful rolls of descriptions and drawings in a book.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, Mavia rolled a real. Actually, Mavia didn't roll. Scotty rolled. My dog rolled a better dex than I've ever rolled because I had him click the mouse. And Mavia used Athson's journal that he like illustrates his days in, and drew a very detailed drawing of the pond. Yes,
Chaos.
defined.
Absolute chaos.
It was chaos. And so this week, I think I want to start with poor Athson, who I believe had just come down to breakfast and realized the drawings in his book were of a lot of naked.
Yeah, and he had thought it was a dream until everyone else started talking about it, and then he would like sit and eat his breakfast and have his drinks, but then like distinctly avoid eye contact, especially with Mavia after there was like almost like I think it was like a boudoir-esque Mavia was like drawn in the corner or something.
No, Mavia just drew herself in her clothes. She did not draw a
Okay.
boudoir-esque Mavia.
I'm just making
There's
sure.
not enough dwarf for boudoiring. Like, they're very small.
Have you seen art on Twitter?
No, no, I don't
Got
search
you.
out Rule 34.
I got you.
Wait, is there art of
Please
Mavia
don't.
on Twitter?
I was just thinking dwarves, but
Oh, okay.
There
Sure.
better not be art of Mavia on Twitter. There's
I'll make it.
racy.
Anyways, yeah, Aston like just avoids Mavia's stare and is just kind of stuffing his face. But there's probably like a light little chuckle to himself, realizing like that was actually real. They went in a pond with me naked. That's so strange. Maybe they're not so bad.
The ice is broken with nudity, I guess.
It only took 13 episodes to get there, or 14. I mean, there was nudity and cold cuts before.
That's true. There were cold cuts. Oof.
The cold cuts are a private and
cold cut.
intimate affair.
No, they're not. Varisa was all up in that.
Not from any
Like
desire
she
to be,
wa-
however.
So yeah, I think Mavia would just kind of sit there and she's watching Aston eat. She's like, and then just like occasionally reaching down and picking up some bacon. Aston,
Yes.
did that tattoo hurt to get? Maybe it doesn't because there's a lot of fat there. Not that your butt is fat. I'm just saying in general.
Honestly, not really.
No?
No.
It's a very good tattoo.
Yeah.
How long have you had it?
For a while, actually.
Seems pretty risque for you.
I wanted to do something spontaneous. And not long after that, I learned healing magic because it was a pain in the ass, quite literally.
Ooh, so it
Yeah.
must have hurt.
Yeah. I mean, well, considering that they'd probably be using like the bamboo needle technique kind of thing in this world, probably, yeah, that would hurt. Did you have fun last night?
Like it was a dream. I saw
yeah.
a lot of Iron Bull.
I too saw much more of my friend than I particularly wanted.
He's a good dancer.
He's a very good dancer. Now, what would it be called in this world, Tanya? You know, like when they do the thing in the pool where one person gets on the other person's shoulders and you're trying to push the other person off.
Same thing, probably.
I think, what is it, chicken? I don't know what it's called. Chicken? Yeah.
Chicken, sure.
Yeah, I think the best part was when Aiden was on Bastion's shoulders and you were on Iron Bull's shoulders, and it was really funny.
I'm glad Iron Bull didn't try to get on mine. So
That wouldn't
I
have
would-
worked.
I would die.
You would drown.
Yeah.
Are you playing Iron Bull right now, Tanya? I have no idea if you're just Tanya or if you're Iron Bull.
No, Iron Bull isn't there yet.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, it looked like I was watching you the whole time to make sure nobody got hurt. Just saying.
So is that a real thing or did you make that up?
Oh, that was 100% made up.
Because I hope you know it's probably going to be a real thing now.
Isn't that great? Like
Yeah, I
every
guess.
year we all just come back here and get naked and take a swim.
Oh, you said we.
Well, I did take a swim. I didn't put that in your book, but I just waited till you guys were out because it was a little weird.
No, I just meant we because that means we're friends.
Well,
And
yes,
then he
we're
goes
friends.
back to eating. And he doesn't say anything, but he just smiles.
What are you eating? Maybe it doesn't wait for him to answer, and she puts her spoon in and just starts like tasting what he's eating.
It's probably a bowl of like assorted like vegetables with like nuts, lettuce, that sort of thing. Something healthier after having basically a hangover.
You know what you need? You need a lot of grease. Let me go get you some bacon. And she like trots over to the bar to go order him some bacon.
Grease. I hope she gets me bacon and not just grease.
Why? Sorry, that was me wondering out loud. Like,
I would not be shocked.
I'm just gonna.
Listen, you have to say bacon grease because then you can make pancakes in it, says the girl who burned Jello. Anyway, continue please with the story.
Why was your Jello warm?
Because it wasn't the instant kind. It was the kind that you put in the stove, but the instructions didn't say to take it off the boiler, like boiling it before you put the. Continue with your story.
Something
And
you love, Kelly.
We've been on 20
And probably more pie.
been on 20 minutes and we've already broke Gabe.
That's gonna live with me forever.
Well, a wild Bastien has appeared.
Hello.
Hello.
I came in at the someone was on someone's shoulders bit, which seemed rather convenient, and I'm assuming we're at breakfast.
Yes, we are reminding Athson of everything that happened to him.
Oh yes,
And
quite
there-
a
Athson was on Bull's shoulders. Who was on your shoulders, Bastien, or were you on
Aiden?
Aiden.
Yeah, Aiden.
And you were playing chicken joust or something in the
Yeah.
water?
Yeah. Mostly because I couldn't figure out what Marco Polo would be in this world, so.
I mean, you can call it whatever you want. The important thing is that we were writing and our lenses were out.
Why do you have to ruin it, Simon? It is now ruined in my head. It was such a fun image. Such a fun image. Now it is gone. Poof,
I forgot to
tears in
drink
the
Well, I
rain.
don't know. It's still kind of a fun image. Depends on your definition thereof, but sure.
You did not, Gabe.
You did.
I was about to call your whole name, your whole Christian name.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd accepted it. I'd just let it happen. I'd have deserved it then.
I would have just made one up. I don't know his whole name.
It's right
Gabriel.
there in Slack or in Slack. In
Well,
Zoom.
no, he's got to have like a third name, right?
I don't know. Gabe's
My-
middle.
You could probably guess what my middle name is.
It's not a hard guess. Does it start with a J?
It just rhymes.
Oh, yeah. Anyway,
Someone please clip this. We've lost the rails already.
This entire show is nothing but clips. We should just call this Dragon Age, an attempt to play a game in which we just make clips.
That's a really long title.
Dragon Age, the clip game.
Yeah.
Is Aiden at breakfast?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant absent. I was like, we were just talking.
Yeah, no, Aiden is definitely at breakfast, but he's sitting a little further apart from everyone, eating by himself.
Why is he by himself?
I yell at him. Aiden.
Oh, hello.
Why are you so far?
I didn't want to spoil what happened yesterday. Are you aware that things happen?
Well, when you say it that way, I feel like there's something that I'm not aware of now. Like the whole naked thing?
In the lake.
Yeah, no, that I'm okay with. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, and you
I have
remember.
pictures.
All right, and you remember the fight with the bear.
What?
Yeah, when we came out of the water, we had to fight off a bear.
Is that a euphemism?
Mavia comes walking back over. She was like, Simon, it's not nice to call the guard a bear. Here, have some bacon. And she like hands the bacon to, not for you,
call me
Aiden.
Simon? Okay.
Yes.
You know what I meant.
She totally did.
Listen.
No, I'm just pulling
long
your leg,
day.
Adson. I'm
Oh,
It's been a very long day.
because the furriest one here is you, so that would have confused me.
No, Iron
Okay.
Bull?
No, Aiden.
Iron Bull of manscapes.
Yes, I am well aware.
Oh, hold on. I need a knowledge arcana for manscaping.
Sure.
I'm going to make you pay for that.
Worth it.
So you mean cunning arcane lore?
Sure.
Or is it a cultural thing? But I that would be a 16 for me.
I had a 9 total with a stunt point. But he did hold me.
All right. You somehow know this word.
Oh yeah, that's true.
No.
Yeah.
Now you know this word. It is in your lexicon.
Manscaped officially a Dragon Age. Hell yeah.
What's
I mean-
manscaping?
If you ever see Dorian with his shirt off, you'll know. You hear Bull say as he walks up.
I really hope I never see Dorian with his shirt off.
That seems
Come on.
weird.
Dorian's nice without his shirt on.
Meh.
Wow.
What are you into, Mavia? What's your type? Is it old like Aiden?
Like please, I'm married.
I
Mm.
Mm,
That's only going to get you so far.
Or is it more like Verisa? Like Bastion? Like Bull?
I think that maybe, I think that maybe you're laboring under the assumption that I find my friends attractive.
Well, Yes?
Oh, heck yeah. They're all gorgeous.
Oh.
Thank you for that, maybe. I do
Except for
appreciate
Aiden.
it.
He's old.
So you all are chatting, and while Maida's being very nonchalant, she's kind of looking at Aiden expectantly after a certain conversation that you all had, where Mavia got very unlike the bright and cheerful dwarven lass that you all have come to know.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking about the one that was back in the crossroads or the one at the camp?
The camp, I believe, that was the more serious one, right?
Where I just basically said that I would end him. Yeah,
Yes.
that was at the camp.
You would end him, but you did have a very serious talk with him after the blood magic thing, and
Okay. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I remember threatening to kill you, but I don't remember anything else.
I remember
Excuse
the threat, and I remember the talk about the scars.
The scars. That's what I
The
was.
scars was last episode.
Yes.
That was when he stripped down because he got old man naked. And then Mavia stripped after they got out, and the Mavia had tons of scars from her neck down to her waist, down the back.
Yes.
But nobody commented on that at that point.
Okay.
However, he might now, in the sober light of day, connect the fact that she said she could kill him with what he saw last night.
Mm-hmm.
That works out because I thought you were talking about the campfire discussion.
Nope. I don't know.
Ow.
Either way, it works out. It all ties together.
It does. So there's
Almost
plenty
like
to talk
backstory.
about over breakfast.
I don't know which one of you is the prettiest, though, Aston.
That's because it's probably you.
I mean, you might be right, but
Complimenting you is hard because you're not very modest, or you're too modest. I don't know how to handle you.
not many people do.
I stand
She's
up and
just
walk
staring
over.
at him and smiling.
Yep. I stand up and walk over to Aiden, and I lean in his ear. Are we both under the assumption that that was a euphemism, or is that just me?
What was a euphemism?
People knowing how to handle. I don't know. She says handle a lot, and now I'm starting to think she doesn't mean it literally.
I
Like
look.
knobs, handles. I think it means like bits, Aiden.
Oh, you mean the song?
The song, and then like her vernacular. I think a lot of it's like dirty, but it might not actually be dirty. Or it is, and it's just so obvious that people ignore it.
I always thought it was dirty.
Oh.
Was it not?
You have kids. This isn't fair. Never mind. I'm gonna. If I have questions, I'm coming to you.
All right.
Aston.
Yes.
Bull says.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Because remember, Bull has walked up. It's like, do you need a little education on some things?
Sort of things.
I love that you put some bass in Aston's voice for that. And he just gives you that smirk like, come on, we were naked in the river. You know what things I'm talking about.
You know what? Gabe is not able to turn down sex education from Iron Bull, so it's gonna be a yes.
Oh man, this episode is just gonna be better
Just-
than last episode.
We'll just go
I was
over
gonna
that
say
later.
this episode
but,
is gonna top last episode, but I think we can take that a little too far too.
Haha.
I mean, it is after dark where most of us are. So
You know what? I'm gonna walk up to Iron Bull and then like lean in. So after the lesson, can we call me Copper Bull?
he just like frowns and the one eye like kind of explain.
Well, because if you teach me, then I could become like your apprentice, and copper isn't as strong as iron, but it's malleable and you can work it into something. This isn't a euphemism. I realize I need to start clarifying that.
Mavia is sitting right near you, just eating and going, go on.
Why won't she stop looking at me? I don't know what to do.
Bull just like he gives you that lecherous little grin. He's like, "Have you seen you?"
Hey, wait, I think you're. Don't start anything.
Stop.
I will steal your eye patch.
And he looks at you like, You lost your chance to ride the bull.
My darling, I never wanted to ride the bull. And she toddles off to the bar to get another drink.
For breakfast?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ale is technically safer than water in civilizations such as this.
Fair.
Verisa just calmly takes a drink of what's sitting in front of her and then looks at Bastien and says, "You really are that entertaining this morning. I'm quite surprised."
It's I'm just speechless.
Bull is just like, excuse me? Like, how dare?
How does she not get in a lot of fights?
Hmm?
Are you all that, or are you just saying?
Absent just asked that out loud.
Whom are you just considering?
Yeah, which
Maybe.
her?
How does?
Oh, Mavia?
Yes.
Oh, she got some a decent amount of fights, but most people like her. She's not a bitch like I am.
She's interesting.
Mm.
So Bull takes a few bites of his food and he looks over at you, and it's like, so you want to do this here in front of everybody? Go to my room. Should I draw you pictures?
Oh no, I think you should just share.
Yeah, it's like a group session.
Kind of
You
like
can-
last night at the lake.
And I'll even hand him my notebook, quill and pen, for instance, to draw any pictures. Oh no.
Oh, you're gonna let Bull draw photos or draw pictures?
Yeah. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm here for this.
I mean, you made your mistakes yesterday. So.
That's true. You're right. Can only go up from here.
So he actually goes into like professorial mode, Bull, but he doesn't skip on the crude language, and basically gives you a very blunt explanation of how sex works. You know, initially between male, female, and then he gets into vagaries of two gents enjoying themselves, two cis gents. And because he knows Cram, he's like, there's other variations we can go into. I have traveled a bit.
At that point, maybe I would pop back over and go, sometimes his math gets complicated. Listen, you talk when you're sleeping, and I had to share a tent with you.
And Bull just looks at himself like,
I mean, I'm not complaining. They were entertaining stories.
he's all about like, yeah, and he's, but you know, maybe it's got a point when there's multiple people involved. Then you got to do some math, see how everyone's feeling, check in, see if anyone needs like a break or some water, wants to sit out around. And then if everybody's not packing the same thing, you got to figure out configurations and positions. And he's like, let me write that part down. He just starts writing. And he's writing, and then you see him like kind of turn your notebook, Asen, and then it looks like he's trying to like sketch out kind of the various positions he's now written out and explained.
Oh, and that one is fun.
Bastian, I would never have expected.
And then he waves the notebook so it can dry a little bit, and then he flips a page and he's like trying to figure out the best way to do this, because if he's going to include a canary in these illustrations, the canary is going to take up most of your page. But he works it out. By the time you're done, and he's muttering to himself like, no, that doesn't work. And
you've added an extra limb there.
That's not an extra limb.
I don't think that's it.
No. See, that's his dick. That's an arm. That's a leg.
No, that's not. I think he just brought a. Listen, maybe you all don't have. Never mind.
Oh, you mean a strap-on? Yeah, I was thought of that,
Possibly.
but I thought they were all like They're all the same. Your proportions are off.
Maybe
Hey, I didn't
not.
say I was a good artist.
Aiden, was sex like this back in your time?
Back in your
Well,
day.
if
He had
you
to
have
go uphill
ask.
both ways in snow to get some.
Back in my day, it was pretty much the same. People have been wild for years.
Interesting.
Baby is peeking over Bull's arm and she's like, "What? You've even done that? My goodness. You are adventurous."
Whenever Bull finishes up with the descriptions and the drawings, Athson's going to write on the cover of his notebook, the Iron Bull Sexonomicon.
Oh, I thought you were gonna call it the Kanari Kama Sutra.
I mean, that works too.
That's what I do instead because I like that one better. The Kanari.
No, and Bull even gets real cheeky and flips through like the part where it's clearly supposed to be him, and in what looks like an impossible configuration, and then he just signs it the Iron Bull. It's like, now if you want practical hands-on application, my room's just upstairs. And he's deadpan, 100% serious.
You know what? Noted.
Make sure he removes all the weapons before you get started.
She brings up a good point, especially with Zevran. I don't know how he hides that many weapons in one place.
Maybe it does a and looks over at Verisa.
She just kind of raises an eyebrow and looks back at you, nods to you, and then turns to Bastian and says, "Did you want more coffee?"
Yes, please. Spike it
He
this
just
time.
slides the coffee pot over.
Maybe a pats Iron Bull on the arm as she whispers. I'm assuming he's sitting down while he's drawing.
Oh, yeah.
And she kind of goes up on her tiptoes and whispers. She's like, "I think you're very handsome. I was just teasing you."
He gives you kind of a, we'll see. I may be a Canary, but I still got feelings.
I know. And she's tying a new ornament on his horn. I know you have feelings. This one is green. I like green. Green looks good on you. It brings out your eye. And she goes and takes another drink.
Your eye. Bull just like looks around and he's like, the things I do.
Oh, come on. You love this.
Well, I mean, I'm still eating breakfast. So I'm not in my room with this one, so.
I don't think it would take you too long, to be honest with you. Either getting him there or while you're in there. Just saying.
And he, like, you see the eyebrow creep up, like you don't think it would take long. What are you trying to say?
I think he might be afraid. He looks
Addison is
fragile.
right there, you know.
I know, she's looking right at him.
Well,
I don't know. He's an elf. He might be pretty springy.
I'm pretty durable, and that's why I said I have spells that heal me, and I can also
Heal himself.
I have a couple ways that I can get myself fixed and keep myself going.
I'm learning so many things about my friends today, and some of them I'm gonna go drink to forget. And she wanders off to the bar again.
I'll never forget this. I don't think I want to.
Aiden would saddle up closer to Atson and say, by the way, friend, if you're ever interested, the spirits taught me a neat little spell that I could teach you that helps bind someone and make them completely impervious to pain. There are some very kinky applications to that.
Did you do that?
I mean, I never made it. Did I use it? What?
Yes.
Not in the context that you would believe. But yes, as a sort of defense mechanism. But with a bit of magical manipulation, you can...
Count me in.
I can definitely try to teach you.
Are you gonna charge?
No, why would I?
Okay. Just making sure. Deal. Maybe I can teach you something. I did learn a lot from Bull's book.
Oh, I thought you meant magic for a moment.
I think there might be some magic in here, if I'm being honest.
I didn't know Kanari practiced tantric magics.
Sidebar from Kelly, who's never played this game. Is there this much sex in this game? Oh, okay.
Depends what you played for.
Yeah.
I mean, I've played The Witcher 3 a million times, so it's probably not going to shock me.
There's a reason this devolved into Thirsty Thursday very quickly.
I know what I came into. Gross.
Maybe it pops up by Bastian. Bastian,
Yo.
how'd you sleep?
After last night, slept pretty nicely. Very relaxing to get back to bed after all of that swimming and
Nice swim.
yeah,
A little bit of athletics.
some, yes.
It's the
Yep.
blood moving. Mm-hmm.
There was jousting after all.
There was
Uh-huh. What are we
jousting.
going to do today, everybody?
I thought today was the trial of the man, Anders.
Oh. Well, that got serious real quick.
Well, you asked me what we were supposed to do today. I think that's what it is. I think that's what the Inquisitor has in mind.
Oh, man, that means I have to see Fenris.
Well, it's nice to see you too, Mavia. You hear from behind you.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
Morning,
He just
Fenris.
said your name. He literally just said your name.
She's pretending she didn't hear it.
No, not at all.
He just leans over Mavia and takes a piece of her bacon. I know you heard me.
Yep. You want some more bacon?
I mean, it's my fortress. I can get all the bacon I want.
I've been eating a lot of your bacon.
If living with Grey Wardens didn't take all of our bacon, I doubt one dwarven lass is going to do that.
Fair's fair, but I do like a challenge. And she just pretending she didn't insult him while he was standing behind her.
Oh, Fenris will remember that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You saw the introduction to how you meet Fenris, right?
Yeah, you made sure to show me that. You made sure to show me that knowing that I have shit dice rolls. I mean, whatever. You want to kill me, I'll make a more annoying backup character.
No, I'm not going to kill you. Trust me, I think if I killed you, the internet would find me because they like Mavia. So Fenris comes around and sits between Bull and Athson.
Oh, he sees the book.
He's not new to sex.
I know, but it's funny.
Fair. Is the book still open on the table, Athson, or are you reading it, or what are you doing?
Definitely reading it. Like, oh, is that okay?
Fenris actually leans over and glances. He's like, that might leave you sore for a couple days. Ooh, I wouldn't recommend that with with a Canary and you're an elf. Maybe with another elf or a human, but definitely not with a Canary.
Noted. And he even makes a note of that literally underneath the picture. Probably not Kunari, definitely human or elf.
Inquisitor, did you hear that we honored the age-old fertility rite tradition last night?
Oh, I heard. I definitely heard.
Do you want to come next year? Nope. Don't answer that question. I'm rephrasing. Would you like to attend next year?
You already asked me.
Scheiße.
Well, that depends on what happens and if we get Harold back. Might want to ask him first.
I mean, we could try.
Oh, you can always try. Sometimes it's just too much for you.
No, I mean to get Harold back.
Oh, we're getting Harold back. Because it's going to be a very bad night for someone if we don't get Harold back.
You know, maybe I could do. Oh, maybe it's like one of those stories where you have to like exchange somebody for somebody.
Out of character, don't give your GM ideas. You're like, damn it.
I'm just saying. There were a lot of really cute animals there.
Fair. So Fenris actually, like, he was gonna go get his own plate, but because he's the Inquisitor, soon there's coffee and a plate in front of him before he even has a chance to get back up. So he looks around at you and he's like, well, did you all sleep okay other than your jaunt to the lake?
I did, yeah.
No, you passed out.
I still slept well.
The beds.
Well, you were
in this,
unconscious. That works. Yeah. What was that, Aiden?
the beds in this castle are so much more comfortable than the ground in the crossroads.
Are they?
I would hope that the beds here are comfortable. So Fenris actually waves a piece of bacon as he's talking because he's feeling chatty. He got a good night's sleep for once. It's like there's not going to be a trial for Anders. I spent some time talking with him after you left Mavia.
I have no idea what you mean.
He just smiles at you. He's like, you had his pillow. And Anders had the pillow when I went to go visit him.
Fine.
Oh, don't be that way.
I was very sneaky.
You were. Had I not remembered about the pillow, you might have gotten away with it.
If it was damn kids.
Wasn't for that damn pillow that gave you away. So he's like, no. There's not going to be a trial. However, Anders is going to be put to some use, and I will be a little bit indisposed while he is being put to use. Not in a dirty way. Before any of you get ideas, I saw what Bull drew in your book. I don't know what you talked about over breakfast, but clearly it was a fun conversation. And then we need to figure out getting Harold and Zelanis back.
Working on it.
Do you have any ideas, Risa?
There are some conversations that have to be had by other people, but I have begun.
Well, would any of those conversations need me, or do you need simply provisions to go back to the Luvian?
Player recollection, Solus didn't wanted to talk to Fenris before. Solus wanted to talk to Anders, right?
So let's want to talk to both Fenris and Anders because Fenris had failed to tell Solus about the Illuvian working and the crossroads because Solus wasn't with them.
Yeah.
So the fact that there's a working Illuvian and the Inquisitor didn't tell him had him in kind of a fit. And
Yeah,
then
well.
he was very curious about Anders anyway, and finding out that Anders, because I forget, did you tell him Anders was an abomination?
Yeah, she told him that he was possessed, but she didn't see him turn, and she couldn't confirm whether or not Anders himself or the spirit possessing him opened the Illuvian.
Okay.
So
Yes,
yes, I told Solus that.
Okay, so he takes a sip of coffee and looks to Marisa. Well, before anything happens, Solus found me and wanted to give me an earful this morning. And I told him he'd have to wait till at least I'd had some coffee first. So after this chat, I'm going to go find our grumpy elven mage. Do you wish to come with me, or would you rather not bear witness to an argument first thing in the morning?
Are you asking anyone?
Well, right now he's talking to Marisa, but if anyone wants to try to come with, you're not gonna see, you're gonna overhear maybe or see an argument.
I would.
Marisa kind of like just side eyes at Aiden for a moment and goes, whatever you desire, Inquisitor.
Well, it's not so much whatever I desire. One of our party members, well, two of our party members are missing, your keeper and Harold. And I'm sure that Solus wants to try to chew me out because I failed to tell him about a precious Illuvian. So it may not be the most calm discussion for first thing after breakfast that you'll get to see. And you may not see a side of me that you'll like. I leave it up to you to come with me, but
Figure I'll make your life easier and attend that way. If you need me to do something, I'm there. You don't have to come find me.
as you wish, Aiden.
Yes, I would actually love to know more of, well, what your plans are, Inquisitor.
Well, my plans are contingent on what Solus has to say and what happens after Anders does what I need him to do. So he waits for you all to finish eating breakfast. Does anyone have anything to say before the shenaniganry begins?
Mavia is going to like slowly be inching her way, like when she, the thing like little kids do, where they like scoot over and over until she's as close to Fenris as she can get without like actually touching him.
Okay.
And she's going to kind of give him the look. I mean, I'm assuming she would be looking up at him. He's much taller than her, correct?
Yeah, because he's tall for an elf.
Mm-hmm. So she's going to be kind of looking at him. She's waiting for him to look at her.
He felt you scooching along the bench, and he looks over. He's like, "Yes, Mavia." With a very weary sigh, he leans down a little bit.
You weren't watching last night, were you?
Watching what?
The pawn thing.
I mean, I do have the best view in all of Skyhold.
Yeah, but I mean, it's far away, right?
I am an elf.
I'm gonna go read a book in the library, and she pops off the bench and just starts scooting out the door.
You actually hear Fenris laugh for the first time. Like it's a mischievous, dirty laugh as he sees Mavia run off.
She's doing that thing. If you've ever seen the octopus that goes nope, 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 that's what Mavia is doing right now.
Nice. So if Verisa and Aiden are going to go with Fenris, Asin and Bastian, what are you up to?
Probably also following Fenris. I'm trying to keep an eye on Anders, basically, but from a place where I can do it safely and not get myself in trouble.
Well, he's not going to see Anders. He's going to see Solus. So he wouldn't object, although he is a little curious about you because remember, there is the secret that everyone's keeping from Fenris about you.
Yeah, true.
I mean, it's
Okay.
not like you're going to go dance naked under the moon and do blood magic.
Yeah.
Just, swim naked in the pond.
I might go with Fenris, and then try to pull Aiden aside afterwards to go see Anders. But then at least sticking with Fenris so that it's like building the connection a little bit,
Okay.
building a trust.
All right. Bastien, what are you doing?
I feel like he's. Bastion would most likely follow Athson. He's. Sorry, I'm having trouble remembering what I did last episode.
You talked to Josephine and started the look for your brother.
Yes. So as much as probably would follow Asin to some extent at some point, likely to either go look for Josephine again, see if she has any other details, but she also mentioned where did I put that? She mentioned Madame something or other. Who was that?
There was, oh God, I forgot the small town we said you're from. It starts with an F.
Oh, wasn't that Falcrest
Yes.
or Falconhurst?
Falconhurst.
Falconhurst, there we go. And Josephine had mentioned somebody whose name, please tell me I wrote somewhere that I saved.
John Harding.
Wasn't it another like female NPC?
Yes. But she was gonna send scouts because Liliana is not Liliana's around, but Zevran is mainly the spy master. But there are scouts checking for your brother's whereabouts to see if that circle was annulled, if there's a word for him. And it's only been since last night.
So she probably doesn't have much.
I mean,
info.
the scouts are still on their way there.
Right.
So it's going to be a little bit, it'll probably be at least a week round trip for a scout to get to where that circle is / was, look into questions for the Inquisition, and then get back, if not longer.
Yeah,
So-
no, I think it's more just kind of keeping an eye on Aston from a distance right now.
All right. Bull finishes his breakfast. He gives Fenris a respectful nod and just whispers in your ass, and you know where to find me if you have time.
Thank you. Yes, I do. You're very friendly.
Well, I wouldn't be a good Ben Hasrath if I wasn't. And he heads off to do his work because he's got a lot of letters to write back to the other Ben Hasrath.
That's fair.
So the party right now maybe is run off after she realized Fenris may or may not have seen the whole shenaniganry. And everyone else is following the Dear Inquisitor.
Yarp.
All right. No, it's too early for a break. I was like, we could take a break. No, it's too early.
Yes, but I'm going to cover my camera and run out for a few minutes, and then I will be back. So.
Okay. Mavia is enjoying reading a book while IRL
Kelly
Kelly
goes,
away.
thanks, Scotty. Let me go get those sheets I had to wash.
Oh, my small furry child's in trouble. All right. So Fenris gets up. He looks around to see if you all are ready. And he just is surprised that all of you are following. Because Verisa, are you coming too?
Yeah.
Okay. He's just like, okay. He's a little bewildered by the fact all of you want to trail with him, but okay. And he just walks right up to Solus's desk. And I'm trying to remember if there's a chair in front of the desk or not, or if Solus has the only chair in the room. I don't remember.
Bruce going to post up on the other side next to the other door and just going to lean against it.
And just
with line of sight. Well, line of sight on both of them.
Okay.
I don't remember there being more than one chair.
Okay.
I have a picture here. There's only one chair.
All
right.
But
There's a couch.
Yeah, well, Fenris isn't going to drag a whole couch over. Like, let me, paint me like one of your Elysian girls. He's not going to do so instead, Fenris he does like like when people lean in on a desk and they're like super serious. He leans in, he's like, all right, so I've had breakfast, I've had coffee, what do you want? And Solus just looks at him like, excuse me, sir? Forgetting that he's in the Inquisitor's fortress for a moment, because it's Solus. And Fenris leans back, he's like, you are the one that showed up at my quarters when the sun had barely risen, demanding to know why I'd not told you about an Eluvian, that somehow he knows where you are, Aston. It's a little weird. He points back at Aston that these two came out of, along with the rest of our party. And I said, I'll come talk to you after I've had breakfast and coffee. That's now. And just to be cantankerous, he goes ahead and pulls that couch over. He's like, you could have one chair for a visitor, just one. And he flops on it and he leans back and he's just like, all right, I'm here. What is it you're so mad about? And he's just staring at Solus, waiting for Solus to talk, while he also wonders what the rest of you are going to do. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm going to go sit on the couch.
Next to Fenris?
Yep.
Okay.
Not like immediately next to him, like if I can leave some room.
Yeah, it's not like you'll be like bunched together. Atson and Bastian, what are you doing?
Aston's
Bastion
probably
is-
going to stand.
Yeah. By the door, in Bastion's case.
So are you at the same door as Verisa or opposite?
Are there two doors in this room?
Yeah, so the way when you come into the hallway, like the main hall of the Inquisitor's chamber of the fortress, there's one door that leads into the rotunda that Solus stays in, and then there's a door out that leads into the back courtyard of the fortress.
Probably the opposite one of Verisa.
Okay.
Yes. So Verisa's standing and posting up next to the one leading to the courtyard.
Okay. So basically you're kitty corner so you're kind of like this to each other.
Yeah.
And Aston, you said you decided to stand?
Probably a little bit behind the couch.
Okay, so near, but not right up in everybody's space.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So Fenris leans back, and after a minute of Solus not talking, he makes his very impatient, get on with it. You're the one that wanted to talk to me gesture. And Solus starts with his usual rambling method of talking about elves and the way the world was and Arlathan. And Fenris is like, look, you were mad I didn't tell you about the Illuvian. What is it you want to know about the mirror? And he, like, Solus gets on this whole thing about elves and how the elves of now don't know their place and yada, yada, yada. Until Fenris finally stands up. He's like, I have things to do. You have not actually asked me a question yet. And he turns to Asin and Aiden. Well, did you have questions if you can get one out of him? Because he's clearly not got anything from me. He just wanted to hear himself talk.
I want to gauge Solus in that moment.
How so?
I want to see, because he told me he had things to tell Fenris, and
Yeah.
from what you just said, it doesn't seem like he's broached the subject with him.
He also didn't expect all of you to come back with Fenris.
Mm,
So he's being a little cagey on purpose. And he's just kind of waiting to see what you ask before he does give some answers. But he expected Fenris to show up, not a whole retinue of people.
Solus is pretty infamous at this point.
At this point, he's well known, and he's drawn some suspicion because he's a mage, but yet has no circle affiliation, doesn't want to align himself with the elves or the Elven or the Dalish, and seems to be very much an enigma, even with Dalish elves around or city elves around, such as Fenris.
I think
So-
Afson would probably a slight bowed head. I purely just came out of curiosity to see Solus. I've heard of his magic and, well, it intrigued me to see him in person.
And Solus raises an eyebrow. It's like, well, I'm not a curiosity. I'm an elf. Well, sort of. What we're both mages, from what I can see.
Yes.
And he turns.
Every mage has a new story.
What?
Every mage has a new story.
True. And he turns to Aiden. I see you're back.
hi, I haven't finished your books.
Well, I gave them to you just a few hours ago, so I hadn't expected you to finish them.
Not yet. I wanted to be here to talk about what we discussed with the Inquisitor. But if my presence makes you uncomfortable, I understand. I will remove myself from this place.
And he frowns. He's like, no, it's not that. I just didn't expect a whole retinue with the Inquisitor. And he glances at Verisa, and Bastian, you're new to Solus? Like, you trained to be a Templar, didn't you?
Once upon a time.
Here to keep the mages in check, I see.
Not quite.
Either you are or you are not. There is no try, or not quite.
No, I'm not here to keep mages in check.
Then what brings you here, former Templar?
Well, we have people to find, and you may have some information that's going to help us find those people. So I just looking for some of the answers we need.
Fair. And he looks back to Aiden. Very well, since you all went through all the trouble of trailing along behind the Inquisitor. I'm most displeased and distressed to not have been informed of the presence of Illuvians, because once activated, they too could draw demons, not merely the thing in the sky or the mark in your hand. It's dangerous to leave these things just out and about. Wild magics could be attracted to them, or like your apostate, they can be used for travel to and from both our realm and other worlds and other places. So the fact that there's an active, unattended Illuvian in the forest near Skyhold is a security threat. Because just as surely as your people came back, someone could tumble in or something could get out. And as my specialty is the Fade, I should have been found and brought to it. And he just kind of gives Fenris kind of a almost like disappointed school teacher look, because he's like, there's an active Illuvian, you should have known better. Not that Fenris would know better. And he keeps going on with all these facts about the Illuvian, and he gets more in that kind of talking to him like he's a naughty schoolboy, like he would know these things, forgetting that he was not raised with any of these Dalish tales. But Verisa, do you know any of the things Solus is alluding to because you are Dalish?
I think some of them, not all, because she's not a keeper and she's not a teacher, but she listened to the stories and she would know them enough. She would also know that she is a paranoid, sneaky, stabby bitch. So things that would represent a danger to the clan she would focus on.
Okay. As he winds down, because he got like kind of on a rant, and he turns to look at Verisa, like she would know, but she was also lost in the crossroads. Well, first light tomorrow, we should go back to this Illuvian and either start searching for the lost people in the crossroads or find a way to close it for now. Because you never know what could have even come back in the time you've returned from the forest. Any
I think when he says that, Verisa turns, catches Bastion's eye, and looks at Fenris and says, "Do you want me to leave now?"
To go to the Illuvian.
If it's been unattended.
And if it's that dangerous.
It is, well, according to Solus, it's that dangerous.
I don't know the particulars, but I know the stories. If he has the particulars, then...
Well, if you can get provisioned and go, but I would feel better if all of you were to go, including Mavia, though she does seem to mistrust me quite a bit. You are, after all, a group. And I would feel better if you all went together.
Very well.
So, if you can wait either until later or, not be out in the forest at night, or go at first light and check on the Illuvian, and I can join you later tomorrow, hopefully, then yes, I would greatly appreciate that. And he gives Solus a nod. He's like, I will speak to you before you all depart, but I'd like you to go with them. And he gives him almost a mocking bow, because he's pulling the Dalish superiority thing, even though he's not. Oh, he intends to, but it's like he's done it so often it doesn't even register that he's mocking the Inquisitor in front of a bunch of people. And there's no one. Oh, the ones in the room who are sensitive to magic, you feel it when Fenris clenches his fist, the one with the marking in it. He's agitated, and thus the marking flares up, and you feel it. How do you react to that?
Probably like chills up my back almost. Ugh.
Aiden?
Aiden's actually going to speak up when he feels it.
Okay.
Look to Fenris. Does it hurt?
He clenches his teeth and like lets his hand relax. Often. Especially when I'm agitated. But I think you all need to get ready to go at first light tomorrow. Back to the Illuvian and see if anything has come out or if there's a way to go back in. It's already later in the day, and by the time you get provisioned and ride out, it'll be dark and there'll be no point in looking further into the Illuvian tonight. So at first light, you all should ride out and find Mavia, let her know.
Well, I'll go find her and make sure that she's aware.
Very well. And if I'm able to, I will see you off in the morning. Verisa, do you remember why that would be? Because you're the only one that overheard his reasoning of why he needed Anders.
Yep. And she's going to very politely wait until everyone has left. And then she's going to sneak down to see if, make sure that, Anders. She doesn't trust anybody.
Oh, I know.
So she's going to sneakily follow, wait for everyone and then follow, wait for him to go and then follow Fenris to kind of like, it's not like she needs to pack anything a lot, just grab that extra knife that she left behind and then grab a couple other things and she's good to go. So she might sneakily follow to make sure that things are safe, ?
Okay. I am just making sure I've got a map ready for when we come back from break. Because I think dispersing after talking to Solus is a good spot for us to break. And when we come back, Athson and Aiden have some planning and things to do. So let's take a break, take 5, get water, get stretch, get snacks, be like Mavia, get some bacon, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Hi.
We're back.
And we got a raid. Yay. Hello there.
Raid.
Sorry, I'm like trying to eat the last of this bagel. Hello, everyone. Sorry, I was trying to like chew my bagel and not like choke on it right before we came back from the break. So hi, how's everyone doing? Did you all stretch, get water, get food, get a snack? Or as Mavia would say, get some bacon in your life. When last we left our friends, Mavia had gone off scurrying away to the library after Fenris scared her. We think Fenris scared her. Mavia is off in the library. Verisa is subtly trailing behind Fenris to see where Anders is. But I want to check in on Aiden and Essen. They have gone down to this old library in the fortress. They figured no one will hear them. They could talk freely. And there's just also old dusty books. You never know what you'll need as a mage. So, what are you two talking about in this old dusty library?
So we really think we can get this demon out?
I think it would be possible. I've never seen it done in the past, but I think the theory is sound. If you can be possessed, you can be... What's the opposite? Dispossessed?
Unpossessed?
Exercised?
Thank you, disembodied voice
You're
of
not
Bastion.
there.
Probably
Probably
Bastion
exercise.
would say exercised.
Yeah.
What do you think we need to do it? Do we need Anders?
Well, his knowledge of being bound to a spirit certainly cannot hurt. What I'm wondering is this spirit, can you speak to it? Can you feel it in you?
I can try. Do you have a ritual to follow?
I think the best would be to enter the Fade.
Oh. Going back.
Well, not the Crossroad, the Fade. I mean, we can both fall asleep right here, right now. But I don't know for you, but I tend not to be able to sleep on command.
Sleep pretty easily.
And I wouldn't want to knock us both over the head. that would not go. That would not go well.
And the accent like puts down a large book. Oh, okay. Overzealous.
Do you remember
What?
the harrowing? Your harrowing?
To an extent. Why?
Well, the ritual is done through the consumption of lyrium.
Yes.
It sends you into the Fade, and it sends you almost immediately to face a demon. What if we tried a sort of controlled version of the harrowing, where you would be sent to confront this exact demon?
It's clever, Aiden. It's clever.
Everybody thinks I'm an idiot, which works very well for me, but...
Oh, they don't give you enough credit.
I won't let them. Being clever means I'm a threat.
Now that is something that I can agree with. So we recreate the harrowing in a more controlled sense to specifically focus on what's inside of me. Aiden, you might be a genius.
You give me a little too much credit, my friend.
If this works, it might be an alternative for Anders himself.
But do we know if Anders wants to get rid of his spirit?
Oh. I hadn't considered that.
Not every spirit is bent on destroying the world and the lives of people. Mind you, he did blow up a chantry. But then again, I tend to agree with that.
If we're getting rid of what's inside of me, would it be even easier to try to swap it out for something else?
You would use your body as a receptacle for a different spirit?
I just need this thing out of me. Whatever it takes.
Oh, I see. If swapping is the most direct way of getting rid of that demon, then yeah, we might try to do that. The problem is, for what I've traveled through in the Fade, benign spirits are rather hard to find.
Well, good thing there's two of us.
I'm always ready for an adventure.
This'll be the adventure of a lifetime.
Could
And,
also
Ath-
potentially be our last.
Athsin puts out an arm for like a hand for the arm embrace.
Mm-hmm. Seeing Atson bring up his arm, Aiden would just go in for a hug.
Oh. It's awkward at first, but then Athsin embraces him.
With the 2 mandatory taps on the back.
Well, it'd be a great story, regardless of how it goes. And then they'll write about us in books of what not to do.
But they'll write about us.
Yes. And not as monsters.
Depends on who gets to write the book.
I hope it's Mavia.
Part of me agrees. Part of me is afraid that this book would turn into smut pretty easily.
Yeah, but we'd look good if she wrote it. That's why I said that.
That's true. She does have a thing for knobs.
And I feel like after that point, they're probably just basically shooting the shit and just talking happy nonsense.
There's one thing though that Aiden would ask Atson. Maybe like towards the end of the conversation. Have you seen any lyrium here though?
I don't think I noticed any before.
So we might need to go out of our way.
Okay.
I mean, the Inquisitor seems to have some on his body, but
Would it
I
be
don't-
strange to ask Severin? Severin already knows everything about me, and if something's going to be found, whether through legal or non means, that terrifying individual seems like the one who would have it.
I would not like to ask any of the Templars here. If there are.
No.
Mind you, I didn't see any. Oh, good.
I agree.
I can. Do you want to ask Zephyrin? Should I?
I think you should. I feel like the two of you would have great conversations.
No, I think I ought to let him know that I am not Shemlin after all.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't be shocked if he already knew.
Me neither. Though he's very polite to keep it to himself.
That's true.
Alright then.
All right, then. Just head off.
So, are you going to try this before or after you all go back to the Illuvian?
Probably after, just in case.
Yeah, because it would be... I mean, one, finding Delirium might take some time. And we're bound for the Illuvian the next morning, right?
Yeah.
So it might be better for us to, one way or another, wait to get Delirium first. So we should go to the Illuvian. And then Delirium might be there when we come back.
That makes sense. Yep, I like it.
Okay. So, what are you doing now that you've had this conversation? Y'all just gonna hang out in this cobweb-filled library and just chill?
Well, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say probably just like researching the area, and then any sort of spiritual magic that might help with this process. Trying to like at least find notes that they can use later on when it gets to that point.
Are you searching this library, or are you going to go in other places? Because there's multiple libraries in Skyhold.
Honestly, I might if it's just for the day, it might be spending an hour or two in each library and seeing like if anything sticks out innately.
Okay. Each of you give me a knowledge check. Let me look at your sheets. Aston, you do have arcane lore and blood magic if you want to use that as a focus on your roll.
Cool. Yeah, I'll do the blood magic.
And you two have arcane lore, Aiden, in searching if you would like to use that on a roll.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I should search for something that is arcane in nature. But
I mean, as in, is the book itself giving off arcane energy?
Yeah, but I would doubt. Like, Aiden believes that if anything magical was to be found in Skyhold, probably that Solus would already have it. He would like to search for, and let me know if it's between arcane and searching, but he would like to find any information about where Skyhold came from. 'Cause definitely. Huh?
Yeah. No, I was thinking out loud. That would be an arcane.
Okay. Yeah, because out of game, like, Simon sort of knows, like, remembers where Skyhold is from and everything, but
Right.
Aiden has no idea.
So Atson, you rolled an 11.
Yep, 11.
As you're searching this dusty library, you find a couple tomes in Tavine, which is the language of Tevinter.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was trying to put on lotion and it splooshed me.
Oh, no.
Oh, so
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm just glad you can't see this that far down because it looks very gross.
On brand with our stream. Anyway.
Yeah, but I'd rather not give the Bukake joke because my hair is now covered in lotion,
Hmm.
and people understand my frustration with getting things in my hair.
Because it's just there for the next few days, whether I get it all of it out or not.
Yeah, so now my hair smells very good and it's soft, but my hand didn't get enough lotion. There was not enough lotion in the tube. Anyway, Alison, you find a couple of volumes in Tuvine, which you can read. And one is on the practical applications of blood magic, and the other is Spirits and Demons of the Fade by Brother Gentivi. So you can take those two with you and read them later, unless you want to continue your search with Aiden, search without Aiden. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna take those two and probably just find a place to start reading them. That way I'll at least like be delving into it rather than just gathering stuff that I don't actually need.
Do you want to go back to your room, or are you hanging out with the cobwebs?
Back to my room, because these are very specific books.
And there's a lot of cobwebs.
I don't want that.
Aiden, are you rolling?
I thought I did.
Oh, I can't tell because it cuts off who rolled.
Oh, yeah, it's a 13 in my case with 1 stunt point. But I don't think I'm gonna use stunts.
Okay. You find a rather large tome written in common, but there's a lot of Elven dialect and words in there.
Okay.
So it grabs your attention. And it seems to be a treatise on the Fade, but by it, who it's by is kind of rubbed out. It's a very old book. And when you start flipping through it, it's a trade of common and Elven. But because of your heritage, you can still read it. But it is a hefty tome if you would like to take it with you. And either read that, put it away, try to find more books. But you two have found some lore.
I'll definitely look into it. And Aiden doesn't mind the cobwebs.
Have you seen the size of those cobwebs?
Oh, yeah. No, I see them on the picture. He would clean the chair, prop his feet up on the table, and read.
All right. Aston is leaving you to your cobwebs, deuces.
Yep. Nah.
Normally, if you see the cobwebs, the spiders are long gone.
I don't care.
Have
They
you-
might come back because they're hungry.
Well, also, have you seen the spiders in Dragon Age?
I mean, if there were giant spiders in this library, I figure we would see them.
Maybe.
Aiden thinks,
They're
looking up
invisible.
at the ceiling.
The ceiling is dark. It's getting late.
I'm gonna close the book and go to my room.
We're
I
gonna
say
leave.
get out of the library.
Nope. You were in the library. Bastien and Bastien, what are you doing?
Mavia.
Are you looking for Mavia?
You are not doing Mavia.
No, I'm looking for her.
I mean, it would be a whole different show if that was the case.
It would be very counterintuitive.
Also,
I'm-
it's all human, short dwarf.
I mean, look. Stranger things have happened.
Yes, and most of it's called fanfic.
The internet
I was gonna say.
is really, really great.
Yes.
For porn.
Wow, I wasn't even going there, but you all got there anyway. So,
Uh,
We did.
Sebastian, did you find Mavia?
I'm hoping I did. Mavia ran off to a library.
Yes, not the same dusty library that we see now. I'm trying to see if I have a better library. I don't. So, for the sake of not having a better map, you're in that library. Just imagine there's no cobwebs. Another library.
So Bastion is gonna walk in and without making too much noise. I mean, this is a library. You have to be quiet, right? Kind of scope around and look for Mavia, and whisper like every few seconds, Mavia, where are you?
Do you keep doing that? Like you just keep circling?
Yes.
So eventually you're going to come around a corner and there's just stacks and stacks and stacks of books. And all you see over the top is just the top of a little red head. And as you start saying something, she goes, shh. This is a library.
I know. What are you reading?
Things.
What things? Are they interesting?
Not really, but I'm tired of everyone knowing things I don't.
But you know so much that we don't.
Yeah, but I don't know anything about the Fade or Illuvians or Crossroads or blood magic.
Oh yeah, well, honey, join the club.
That's okay. I found this book called Wikipedia, and it really helps a lot.
Oh shit. Yo, give me that.
Okay.
Cause like, damn.
I'm sorry, it's called Dragon Age Wiki. Anyway, so she does. She has books stacked up all around her about all these different topics, and even stuff about like where Bastien is from, and about like if she could have found anything about the slaughter of, the Dalish elves. She's basically trying to find out all the stuff about her party that she smiles and nods to, but she actually doesn't know.
You know, Mavia, you seriously, like, I mean, you should have considered a career in research with everything that you found here.
They don't let you eat in the library.
They don't let you eat if they catch you.
If I was the librarian, I would have to set an example. I would have to be an upstanding citizen.
Well, okay, fine, you got me there.
I'm just joking. You want some bacon? I have some in my pocket.
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
And he will take the bacon from her
Okay.
and chew on it as he's reading. We're going to be heading to the Illuvians in the morning. By the way,
Who's we?
everyone, like us,
Like everyone. Like is
Verisa,
he coming?
Athen, who?
You know.
Fenris.
Yeah.
He may be waylaid. We're not sure if he's going to join us exactly or not. But Solus is coming. Aiden is coming. Athen is coming. You and I and Verisa. We might have the Iron Bull with us. I'm not entirely sure right now.
I don't think he would like that.
Well, Fenris might tell him to, and Zevran might be there too. God only knows at this
If
point.
Arisa's there, Zephyrin's going to be there.
They're kind of, a thing.
Yes, Bastian. That's why I said that.
Yeah, so I would expect them to be there.
She has her bag open and she's like putting books from the library straight into her bag.
You're not going to bring the book bag with us, though, are you?
Why not?
Well, I mean, carrying all of that extra bulk, you don't want to be encumbered.
I'm a dwarf. I'm very hardy. And plus, if Bull's coming, I'll just make him carry it.
Okay, fine, good point. As long as you're free to, like, chop everyone off at the knees when we need to.
Well, I'll stab them in the back of the knees.
I see how that would be better, actually. Patellas
If
can
you
get
cut
hard.
the two tendons at the back of the knee, they can't do anything, and then they're just like sitting ducks.
Yep.
Mhm.
I see that. I don't know. I usually enjoy such a frontal approach. Sometimes I forget about the back end.
She finds that hilarious.
So,
I remember last night you do enjoy a frontal approach.
You know, what else can I say?
You're very tall. That's all I'm going to say. And she like hoists the bag over her shoulders. While I was amused, I don't think I thought through my actions last night.
But it turned out for the better.
Did it though?
I think so. I mean, look at this morning's conversation. It was very informative.
Okay.
And it was a good team building experience.
I'm sure Iron Bull has a lot of ideas for team building experiences.
Yes, well, to be seen.
Mhm.
I'll let Athson do most of the discovery there and report back to us.
I mean, he does seem to be coming out of his shell just a little bit.
Coming out indeed.
I mean, I'm just saying that maybe me convincing him that naked pond romping was an actual thing might have helped, because he was like all shy and
Well,
sad.
It definitely can be said you don't know someone until you see them naked.
Correct. Everybody here's so sad.
Probably because they don't see each other naked. We should introduce the pawn thing to a lot more of these people, maybe.
Why are you so sad? I know what you told me before, but what are you really looking for?
I have to find some people.
You told me you had to find the people that hurt your mom.
And my brother.
Did your brother hurt your mom?
No, but other people might have hurt him.
Oh, well, we
And-
can't have that.
Well, I don't even know if he's still alive.
I think can't one of the mages like do the thing on like water or something and tell you if he's alive?
I don't quite know if it works that way. I mean, part of the reason why I took this job is the resources. There's inquiries being made to try and see if we can locate something on my brother. If he might be an apostate, I'm not sure.
Someone here's helping you?
Yeah, Josephine is.
Oh, Amontillado. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She who sent us our invitations. Yeah, she's helping. I just had I have to find him.
How long have you been looking?
A few years now.
How old are you?
It would help if I knew. I guess it's been so long that I've been looking, I forgot to count my birthdays.
When's your birthday?
Sometime in the year.
I have decided that your birthday is tomorrow.
Okay. Back into the Illuvians, great birthday present right there.
Could be worse. It could be raining.
It could. It could. But
I'm going to help you find your brother.
I appreciate that, Mavia.
I'm very small and people don't pay attention to me if I don't want them to. So just tell me where to go.
As soon as I know, you and I.
You can get the information from Amontillado because she doesn't like me very much. I'm not going to talk to her. Thank you.
Oh yeah, no. I'll
She
do
doesn't
the
like me.
I'll do that.
I
The
did hit me
social
with her
thing.
shoe.
What?
Nothing.
Okay. I just, if people are hitting you with their shoe, you let me know, okay?
Oh, it wouldn't be the first shoe I've been hit with.
Yeah,
You'd
but
be
that,
amazed what people throw when they don't have their clothes on. Just grab the first thing they find.
do people throw things at you often when they're not wearing clothes?
It depends on whether I've taken their clothes.
That would explain why were they wearing their clothes when you took them?
If they were very drunk. Usually I wait until they do things like go naked into a pond.
And hence I leave my money with Verissa.
Oh no, it's not the money. You can just sell clothes for a lot if they don't have like a lot of blood stains or holes in them.
That makes sense.
At least where I'm from.
It does make sense. Yep. Yep. I can appreciate your style, maybe. Yeah.
Like my clothes?
Your methods of procuring funding.
There's really no wrong way to procure funding. As long as you don't get caught.
Ah, the key right there.
Correct. Now, should we go find everybody and see if Athson has gone to Iron Bull's room?
Let's go have that conversation. It's bound to be a good one.
Okay. And she like pulls her book, now what is essentially a book bag, over her shoulder. And she was like, you know what? I found a whole book full of maps here. Do you want to cut them up?
But we don't have we're missing an essential person to put them back together.
Who?
Zalanis. I mean, once he's back.
I mean, that's why I have to find him. He has the other part of my map. And I'm sure at some point that map will be very important in my journey.
Does he still have it?
Oh, yes.
We never put it back together, did we?
We put it back together wrong.
Oh,
And then
okay.
we pulled it back apart again.
And he took off with his half.
Well, his third.
Oh, we did that much damage to it.
Yes, we. It was definitely we.
Well, when we find him again, we can cut up this book of maps and then.
Oh my goodness. What if we cut up all the maps and then glued them back together and then left them someplace and made people think that they were like secret treasure maps, but they lead nowhere because they're a bunch of maps glued together?
I think we should do that and then leave it on Fenris's table. So when he goes to look up some place, he can't find it.
That's going to get me killed.
He won't know it's you, though.
Yeah, he will.
How would he know? If we get it into his room, we'll ask Versa for her help. She'll get it into his room with no problem.
Could just hide it in like a bag of cold cuts.
That might get Harold into trouble, though.
It would also make the map really greasy.
Yeah, and kind of smelly over time. Not really the most favorable thing.
Where should we send Fenris?
He seems fairly well traveled, but
I think he needs a vacation. He's very wound up.
yeah.
And he likes to spy on people.
What do you mean spy on people?
Nothing.
What are you telling me he saw last night? Maybe yeah.
Is that a shark? And she like runs off.
Maybe yeah. And
Tanya took a drink right before I did that.
A shark inside the library.
Okay, in my defense, that's how my husband used to leave really bad WoW raids if the group kept dying. Is he would just say, "Is that a shark?" and then disconnect.
Okay.
So that's the first thing I thought of.
I'm just like, you're inside.
Which is why it would be super crazy if I saw a shark.
You know, I'm just gonna run with it. I'm just gonna go with it. After Mavia has used Hark, there's a shark and runs off. We're going to see what Varisa is doing, trying to sneak up on Fenris. Varisa, what are you doing? I mean, you're in Skyhold, you're in his domain, and you're trying to sneak him. You're trying to sneakily follow him.
I mean, she's done it before.
True.
She kind of has learned a lot about the roof pathways of this fortification, and that certain people don't like to close their windows.
You know, it's cold in the mountains, and they run fires, and it gets too hot, and you've got to open the window, otherwise it'll steam up. And then if it steams up, it ruins your books. It's a terrible cycle.
Yeah. So she's going to be a little stealthy, trying to hide.
Unluckily for you, Varisa,
Yeah.
Fenris knows his fort inside and out by this point. And also all the little crumbs and pieces of pebble and roof that are still being fixed are going to not be in your favor. And when some pebbles of the roofing fall down and almost hit him in the head, he just says, "I know you're there, Varisa. You are the only person besides Zevran that runs on the roof."
And I think she's just gonna swing down at that point and just kind of sit and goes, "To be fair, I wasn't running at the moment."
And he just gives you that stare that, like, really, semantics? Really?
Semantics make sure you don't what keep people alive at times.
Oh, you and Zevran together are going to be such a terror. He, like, rubs the bridge of his nose, just like, wow. He just... I kind of want to watch you and Zevran try to out-talk each other, because I don't know who would talk in more of a circle, you or him.
We don't spend a lot of time talking in circles. Although by current count, I am up 1 on him on knives.
Oh, good, you're here, so we can ban you. One moment, please.
Oh,
I don't know.
I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
Go
Nope, it's gone.
sit
no, he's not.
down.
And it's not a battle because you came unarmed with no wits.
What a little. I'm so mad because my Twitch was reloading, so I didn't even get to see his stupid ass.
1 second, please.
It's okay. I'm reporting.
Let me know. God, I wish there was a way to see history. Is there a space in it or no?
Underscore.
Underscore. Somebody screenshot what he said.
I have it on the mod view. It's fine.
I said whatever, something about.
Well, no, I'm just saying because then I can attach it to the report.
Okay.
1 moment, please.
We'll go to break screen. We'll be right back.
Do.
we're back.
Hello. We've taken out the trash. Welcome back. And what we were about to do was Verisa and Fenris, we're going to fight, who knows, with both of them, really. So, Verisa, you were talking to Fenris. What were you trying to accomplish while you were tracking him?
She is concerned about his health.
Are you telling him that, or that was your motivation?
When she sits down, after he's sighing over, apparently contemplating Verisa and Zevran together, she kind of raises an eyebrow and looks at him, and kind of, I want to play it like she quasi-intentionally made sure that people could hear, that he could hear her when, she let things slip a little bit, and did it in a place where they were kind of out of the way and not near any windows where she may have previously listened to lots of conversations.
Okay.
And she will then look at him and go, "You don't look well."
You're observant. No one else has really noticed beside Hawk and Zevran.
Mm. An unfortunate side effect of the trade, but
well, is there anything that you wanted beside, well, noting the obvious?
what does he have in particular that can help you? Oh. And that you could therefore attempt what does he have? Why is he necessary for your well-being?
He looks at you for a long time. He's like, "Follow me."
Mm-hmm. She'll swing down and start following him.
And he, instead of where he was going, which was to another part of the tower, instead he's going back to his quarters.
Mm-hmm. She'll follow.
And once you're up there, he takes a seat on the bed and waves at the chairs that are in his office, the office part of his quarters. So, what it means is that these markings that your keeper was very interested in, they need maintenance. And I'm not a mage. And I'm not a healer mage. So that is part of what I need Anders for.
All right. But is he the only healer mage that you know that can do with this? What makes him unique?
The only one that I trust and that knows my markings.
The second I can grant you, but why do you allow for the first?
He just sighs and he looks up at you and he's like, it's the markings already caused me pain, and with the addition of this mark, it's a lot. And while we were in Kirkwall, Anders was the only one that could heal me without pain. And if I hadn't found him, if it turned out that he had died or been captured or tranquil, I would have had to tell my advisors what was going on. I'd rather they not know. Dorian's not a healer. Solus is a little too excited to investigate my brands. And Vivian's a fighter, not a healer. Hawk was never good at healing. He can do in a pinch, but he's not great at it. So it is what it is. That's why I needed Anders. And he actually like rubs his hands together and grimaces when he feels the lyrium on one hand rub across the fade mark in the other. So I hope you're satisfied, Verissa.
I'm here to do a job for you. I brought the target in alive, as I promised. I am going to continue looking for the missing members. I know that he is the reason why certain things may have changed. I know you do not care for me. We are too similar for that. But I do respect you, Inquisitor. And I do understand that you are in a position. You cannot allow yourself to be seen as impaired or weak in any manner. You have too many opponents for that. But you are starting to become impaired.
Well, hopefully, provided all goes well, I will be more myself tomorrow.
Who is going to stand there to make sure he doesn't kill you?
Who doesn't kill me?
Anders.
He actually laughs at that a little bit. He scoffs. He's like, Anders isn't going to kill me.
Anders might not, but his passenger might.
Oh yes, vengeance. Well, before I would have been more concerned. This mark seems to calm his passenger from what I've seen. He was very fascinated by it. It's like apparently there's a piece of fate in my hand. Jazz, Zelanis has never spoken to you of the fade.
I know vaguely of what the fate is. Fenris, you seem to be operating on a misapprehension, so let me be very frank with you. Zelanis is a very dear friend, and for a very long time, he was basically my brother. But he was chosen to be keeper, I was not. He was chosen as first, I was not. I am a hunter, and then I shifted my hunting to other prey. So yes, I am very aware of history, story, knowledge, how things interact, but magic? I was not trained in that. I am, however, trained in understanding what happens when a keeper engages in a ritual that might be dangerous. That's why one of us stands by and makes sure if there's a problem that we can end it. The keeper wishes to engage with the fade. There's a hunter standing nearby to stab whatever comes out. So I ask you again, who will be standing next to you when he starts messing with that? Because while you might care for him, and he might actually care for you. You can't guarantee that his desire for freedom might overwhelm his desire for you.
I know that. I was merely going to make sure that he was comfortable in the new quarters. Because keeping him in a prison was not going to get us anywhere.
No, we won't.
And after Kirkwall, I'm very well aware of what can happen. But I'm also well aware that if we don't do something about my markings, your savior, not you, the Shemlin, the one that they named Harold without his consent, will be no more useful than dwarves and Orzammar that huff too much lyrium that get exposed to it. I'll be the one in a prison to keep everyone safe from me. So Hawk and
Fenris,
Severin will be with me.
Fenris, I'll tell you right now, I'll make you a promise.
Go on.
If it ever comes to a point where the choice is between putting you in a prison and protecting the world from you, it won't be a prison that you'll end up in.
He just gives you a look. He's like, I've already got that covered and not from you.
Oh, I know. I'm sure. But you understand. I make you that promise because I understand you.
You do. Let's just say you think you understand me.
No, Fenris, I may not understand your personal reasons, but I understand that you have no desire to go back to a cage.
He tries to keep himself calm because he's feeling like you're overstepping.
Yeah, but she's going to be as blunt about this as possible.
Oh, absolutely, but you don't have that rapport yet with Fenris.
Oh no, she doesn't, and that's why she's being blunt. Your friends, you have them.
I do.
You will have people who will promise you to help you, to save you, to fight for you. I am here to make you a single promise. If they cannot win that fight, I will be there to help them finish it.
That's
because I can guarantee you they will do it, and I'll be there to do it for help them with it. And that will be the only time I would ever raise a weapon in your presence.
We'll see. Just so you know, while Hawk may have loved me at one time, you would have no problem keeping that promise now, I can assure you.
And Varisa just kind of like gives him that half smile. It's like, oh, I had a conversation with him a couple days ago. That was a very different conversation, and you may not be as aware of everything that you think you are. Yes, I'm sure that Hawk will be very firmly on board with helping you in any way he can. But like I said, I've made you two promises. One, I'll find Harold and Zalanis. And two, if it comes to it, the cage won't be where you end up.
We'll see. That's a promise I would not ask of you because I don't know you that well.
I know. And that's why I make it. And she'll like look at him and go, but you do need to tell them, because if I can tell you are so unwell, it's showing. And you're and she like looks like she's struggling to find a word in trade. It's not that you smell, it's that you know when something's sick and it's starting to get there it's becoming obvious they're making bad choices and making things looking around. You need somebody that you actually care about and can trust to know that you are unwell. And that is all I will say, Inquisitor.
Hawk and Zevran are very well aware of what's going on. They are part and parcel of why you were finally summoned to find Anders. I was determined to weather this on my own. So you can thank them.
Well, I'll thank one of them.
I believe you've already thanked the other.
That's not a thank you, and I wouldn't talk. The only one I would thank would be Zevran. Your champion and I disagree about quite a lot. So we avoid each other. But in that case, I will fully trust that, if necessary, you have someone to guard your back tomorrow. I will see you then, Inquisitor. And she kind of like does like that half nod, bow thing, and then just reaches a hand up onto the roof and pulls herself back up onto the roof. Out of the way.
And Fenris just watches you and shakes his head like she has no idea what she's promising. And he heads back where he was going, and that's where we're gonna call it tonight for these shenanigans. So hopefully that was not too disjointed, y'all.
No, we're getting to the nitty gritty stuff now.
Yeah, we got, what, how many, 4 episodes after this?
Yes.
Yeah, so I need to make some plans. Y'all need to visit the crossroads, and Fenris has some things to do medically. And since we did end a little early, instead of just ending like 15 minutes early, I want to do a fun thing we sometimes do on Rivals of Waterdeep, which is in-character questions. So if you have a question for Verisa, Fenris, Harold, even though Harold's off in the crossroads, or Aiden, or Athen, or Bastian, or Mavia, please put question in the chat and what character you're addressing. So questions for our characters. And if you don't have questions for us, then we will just end early.
Yeah. I was about to say nothing is off topic, but knowing this game and knowing these characters, I do believe that we'll reserve the right to not answer a question.
Correct.
I
It
was
is with
muted.
our discretion.
Ask us questions. Make us feel loved.
You are
Yeah,
loved,
there's
Kelly.
a
You're
delay
fantastic.
between us and chat.
I know.
so-
I know.
And it's
Ask
sometimes
Mavia about bacon.
Oh,
I am.
Lord.
I am not loved. I am feared.
Oh, we
You
have
can be
one for
both.
Mavia.
Oh, see?
What was Mavia's favorite book that she grabbed? Oh boy. What's the strangest country in this world? Like in the Dragon Age.
Strangers?
Like what's like the most people don't know a lot about it?
Where the Canari are from, Saharan, and the Anderfells, because it's supposed to be really, really far away and super desolate.
Okay. Her favorite book is going to be called With Staff in Hand Through Saharan, A Tourist's Guide.
With staff in hand.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
We've got
What's
another-
Mavia's favorite way to make bacon? Did you hear the Jello story?
No, we need the Jello story.
I'm not allowed to make bacon. You heard the Jello story.
The chat hasn't.
Chat
Chat-
has not
chat
heard
heard
the
that,
Jello
didn't they?
story.
Was that? I thought that was live.
Oh, the whole
Burning Jello? Yeah, that was live.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, they heard that. However, what they haven't heard is the fact that when my husband's appendix was about to rupture and he was in severe pain, he didn't bother to call me to come home from work and take him to the hospital because he thought the severe stomach cramps was just because I made him dinner the night before, because there was precedent. Next question for someone else. Maybe his favorite way to make bacon is for someone else to make it correct, Brian.
Yes.
The important question
not
is:
shocking.
Is her favorite bacon nug bacon or mystery meat bacon?
It's pig bacon, whatever passes for pigs here.
Well,
It's definitely pigs.
Pigs. There are pigs.
Like,
So we do have pigs and we do have potatoes.
well, just because
Yes.
it's a fantasy world doesn't mean that the whole ecosystem has to be overhauled.
Oh my gosh! So somebody in my sorry,
What?
somebody in my stream yesterday, because of the chat delay, I forget about the delays. And somebody asked me the question, like, what is your favorite way to sing? And somebody else just heard what I answered prior, and they said, haha, potato. And I'm like, yes, potato is my favorite way to sing.
Wow.
Listen, somebody said potato somewhere, and that's what just sent me down that tangent. Welcome to my brain. Somebody ask somebody else a question.
Well, we have time for one last before I go in the regularly scheduled spiel.
Before you become a potato?
Before I become, I'm pretty much 24/7 a potato. And
Oh, if you're a potato, does that mean there's Canadian bacon on you?
I mean,
Maybe
Wait,
on Harold.
It's
Part-
just ham.
part
What's the
of
difference
me,
between Canadian bacon and bacon?
Canadian bacon is ham.
It's ham.
It's ham, but for whatever reason, sometimes people call
Oh,
Yeah.
it Canadian bacon.
okay.
But part of me is a potato. I would say the front part of me is a potato, and the back part of me is Canadian bacon.
So you're a tasty entree or appetizer, is what you're saying.
All I'm saying is you can have me for breakfast.
Lunch or dinner?
This is going places that make me moderately uncomfortable.
Also, I'm sure your GF might be like, what?
Be like, excuse
No, no,
moi,
no,
because
I
it's
mean,
French. So she
you-
has to say it, and she's there in Canada, so it's got to be excusez-moi.
If you are what you eat, what is everyone?
Wait, what? If you are what you eat, what is everyone?
Sure, that will be our last in-character question.
Right now, I'm a bagel because I have most of a bagel in front of me that I'm going to destroy the
The
second this
DM is
camera's
bagel.
off.
Bastion
French
is a
toast.
total beefcake.
That's true.
You're a himbo.
Yeah.
We need fan art of us as these foods.
We're just eating these foods, really.
If we are what we eat,
Don't answer that.
Aiden would be the last thing I ate. Shit, what did I have for dinner? Oh! Aiden is a chicken sandwich.
Considering he's pretending a lot, that makes so much sense.
It actually does. Everything,
Everything
does taste
tastes like chicken. What's Atson?
French
What did
toast.
Gabe have for dinner? French toast? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best.
And what's
Barista.
Barissa?
Sicilian peasant dinner, pasta and peas with lemon sauce and grilled chicken.
I had chorizo tacos, so I am a chorizo taco.
That checks out.
Truth be told, turkey, sliced turkey with mustard and a pita.
Are you saying that you had cold cuts for dinner?
I totally had cold cuts for dinner.
And you managed to make it to stream on time mostly.
And that's where we're gonna end tonight.
Oh my
I won't
god.
elaborate on my talents today.
Thank you,
Well-
everyone.
I mean, I had bison burger for lunch, if that's better. Simon, take it away,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. Hi, everyone. Bye, everyone. I'm Simon at Wondering the M. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you for all of the hype train. All of it. Thank you for the raids. Thank you to all of you hanging out in chat. Thank you to you watching on YouTube. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Magen Press, Found Familiar, Roll20. Thank you to our partners, Level Up Dice. Thank you to all of you players for coming, and Tanya for jamming. I'm gonna
Yay.
leave the mic up to all of you if you want to shout out what you have going on, if you want to plug anything, and we'll start with Deirdre.
Oh, hi, me, I guess. Hi, y'all. You know me. I'm at Georgia on Twitter, or Praxagorth as Meophoria, as you see me around on Twitch. And you'll find me back here tomorrow for some Cyberpunk Red after, I guess, Trins has to deal with the fact that she, I guess, officially broke up with her boyfriend. And for those of you of a certain age, if you watched last week's episode, I will tell you right now that I managed to fit in 10 Die Hard quotes into that conversation. And then Saturday, back here for the penultimate episode of Black Flag, Season 2, Adventures and Consequences. And other than that, check my Twitter because post where I'm going to be. All the fun people like these wonderful, fine, fabulous people, all of them are wonderful. And you should talk to them and find them and engage with them. And all the fun things I get to do. But other than that, see you next time.
Up next is Andrew.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrew at Anderful1 on Twitter, and I actually will post something on Twitter this week because I have a project I have to finish. No, I will. I'm probably actually going to take.
Canadians were nice and didn't lie, Andrew.
Oh, honey, you need to come visit.
No, I don't actually.
So, no, I need to finish up some projects, and one of the best ways to do that is community. And so I will start posting some of the projects I have to finish so that if I'm not finishing them, people can harp on me, because that's what community is good at doing, helping you get things done. So you could check that out. It's going to go up this week. And otherwise, you'll see me here on Thursdays playing with some of the greatest people that I know. The absolute highlight of my week. And that's all
Who's
for me.
that? Oh, sorry.
Well, technically nobody right now, but we're not having that conversation.
I know.
Okay.
Kelly, you're next.
What? Okay. Hi, I'm Kelly. You can follow me at the Opera Geek on Twitter for weird posts and serious talk posts, and occasionally posts of me performing, which if you see me post a video of me performing, please like it and share it, or like it on YouTube, because it takes me like 3 hours to subtitle those things. Because there's 7 people singing. Come on, give me some credit. You can find me on Wednesday next week on I don't know which channel, Gemhammer channel for PAX Online, doing a demo game of the Deck of Dynamic Dungeons with the Dr. B, Megan Saidi, Randall Hampton, and Savage GM. And then the Saturday, oh my gosh, that's actually next Saturday. Saturday, I'm going to be at 3 p.m. Pacific on the What It Means to Be a Bard panel for the D&D celebration. So please join that. I'm going to have some amazing colleagues with me. Eugenio Vargas, Christine Ariel, Lauren Urban, and it's going to be moderated by Critical Bard Omega Jones. So definitely come see that. Yep.
And now it's Gabe's turn.
Hi, I'm Gabe Games, as I said. Mondays, you can find me at 1 p.m. Pacific time playing our finale of The Lost Mine of Phandelver. And then we announced that we will be switching our campaign over to Rime of the Frost Maiden, which will be very exciting on the D&D channel. As always, you can find me here Thursdays. Fridays, you can find me on the Roll20 channel at 10 a.m. Pacific time with my GM talk show, Table Talk. And then on after that, later on in the afternoon, I think 4 p.m. Pacific time, I'll be in the D&D celebration building an adventure with Dr. B, literally focused around mental health and awareness. And I'm very excited about that because it's something that we don't talk about as much in this community as I feel like we need to.
And Tanya.
Hello. I'm Tanya, Cypher Tier. I stream on my own channel, do variety. Today's variety was model painting. I too have some panels going on during both PAX Online and D&D Celebration. I actually found the thread of all the things I'm doing at PAX Online. For once in my life, I planned ahead. So I'm in a bunch of pre-recorded panels, and then Sunday, the 20th, we're doing a actual live show from PAX with, wow, my brain just totally shut off. Serena and Carlos are coming back. I'm DMing. We're doing some Frost Maiden adventure with Masood, Sharif, and Latia. I'm sorry. I just totally brain just checked out for a second. And then Friday night, I am DMing for D&D Celebration with 7 of us total. And I will tweet that out soon because I cannot remember everyone who's in that game. But this week, Saturday morning, come by for Dungeon Crossing, which is me teaching people to play D&D, but in my Animal Crossing basement. That is Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Central. Sunday, come over to Rivals of Waterdeep Twitch channel for more Kids on Bikes. We're playing our session, DM by Masood. And then next week, unfortunately, there is no Dragon Age because otherwise I'll be playing 4 days in a row, multiple games. And rather than burn myself out, I asked for forbearance from our cast and we're taking a week off.
Self-care.
Self-care. I know by Sunday night, I'm be like, no one talk to me ever again. So I'm doing a lot of RPGs all over PAX, my channel, D&D. Come say hi. Be nice.
And you can find us tomorrow for the finale, the season 2 finale of Cyberpunk Red. And then Saturday for Black Flag, as Deirdre said. And we'll be back on Monday for Castle Falkenstein. That said, you can also find me on Patreon. We have some cool rewards. I think I can not announce something yet, but there will be some cool additions to the Patreon in addition to the workshops that we're giving and the encounter of the months that we're building. And if you would like to support what we do on Wandering DM, if you would like to support the channel, or even just be part of the community, you can check out Patreon at patreon.com/wanderingdm. Thank you everyone for coming. Have a good end of the week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.